we survived. Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're brand new here, hi, my name's Courtney, and normally we talk all things wavy curly hair. Yes, I know my hair does not look wavy curly. I'm actually filming a video for you right now called How I Air Dry My Hair Without It Making It Look Like I Stuck My Finger in a light socket. So that is what's going on with the hair, but this video I wanted to share with y'all exactly how I packed for a 10-day international trip for myself and my 2 children. I want to tell you how it went and share the things that I learned, because I definitely searched the internet before we went on this trip for tips and tricks and help. And while there were some helpful things out there, there are some other things that I found out on this trip that may be helpful to you if you ever have to go somewhere with small children on a plane for 10 hours and then stay somewhere internationally for 10 days. That's a big trip, or at least it's a big trip for me. So without further ado, let's get into it. I say that, I don't even know where to start. Starting off, I will tell you the ages of my children. I have a 7-year-old and a 1-year-old. And honestly, the 7-year-old is incredibly self-sufficient, entertains himself very well, and is really easygoing. If you just make sure that he is fed and warm enough, he is a happy camper. The 1-year-old, on the other hand, will be turning 2 soon-ish, and oh my goodness, she is in that stage where she is just super busy, going from one thing to the next, and very easily runs out of things to do and gets bored very quickly. So let's start with her diaper bag. For the flight there, we had to take a very short 30-minute flight and then a very long 10-hour flight. In case you missed it, I did share about this on my Instagram, but we went to a wedding in Brazil of some dear family friends of ours. My darling husband and I got to live in Brazil way back in the beginning of our marriage before we had children, and it was an absolutely wonderful experience. I adore Brazil from the bottom of my heart, but that flight to Brazil is a long one, especially going from Texas to Brazil. So diaper bag was the carry-on item for my daughter. My daughter was infant in lap, so I got to hold her during these flights. Some things that were in here. This was the thing, guys. This was the thing that saved my bacon, if I can pull it out. This is one of those activity boards. She got it for Christmas when she was under a year old, so Christmas last year. This used to be a puzzle. All the puzzle pieces are gone, but the thing that entertained her the most was this right here. Just this one, the clip. She would open it and close it over and over and over. This entertained her for a solid hour on the plane. Not only this buckle, but like the buckle seatbelt. She loved that. That's what kept her attention for that long. Don't ask me how, I do not get that one. Everything else she gets bored with in 10 seconds, but that buckle was an hour long worth of entertainment. Highly recommend. Also, I will do my best to link all the helpful stuff in the description of this YouTube video, so you'll just click show more on the description, and it should open up, and there should be a ton of links there for you in case you see something and go, oh yes, we need that. This is awesome, and it fit really, really well in with the changing pad in our diaper bag. I also packed a food mat, which is very cute. It's in the shape of a cloud, and a bib that has a tray to catch food. Honestly, I forgot to put this on her when she was eating, and she may or may not have spilled the entire in-flight meal all over me. I was able to clean it up for the most part, but that was kind of atrocious. I also have Kleenex, Lysol wipes, Tide to-go wipies, and these. Oh my goodness, did these ever come in clutch? These are mosquito patches from Buzz Patch. These are very, very cute. They are little peel and stick stickers that you can stick on kiddos' clothing. And look, there's like emojis, and some are pink, some are green, some are blue. I knew we were going to Brazil and we were going to be kind of out in the country, and the bugs were bad. Buzz patches were being worn. Multiple buzz patches were being worn by multiple people, and it worked great. These are a chemical-free bug repellent, and definitely this came in clutch. You know what I didn't use? The Tide to Go wipes. I didn't have any messes that a regular baby wipe couldn't take care of. So that took up space in my bag that I didn't need, in case you were wondering. Things that are no longer in the diaper bag that were in the diaper bag for the trip were our kiddo liquids. I packed some medications for the kiddos. They were just in case medications, in case for whatever reason, if we were 30,000 feet up in the air and somebody spiked a fever of 104, I had something for that. I know, I can already hear the comments. Anytime I mention this, somebody feels the need to tell me that a fever is just your body's way of telling you that it's fighting off an infection. Great. I don't want to be fighting off an infection at 30,000 feet on a 10-hour overnight flight. I wanted ibuprofen for my children. Oh, so snarky. I'm sorry. Anyway, there were some medications for my kiddos, diaper rash cream, and a couple other liquids for my kiddos. Keep in mind, if you are not TSA PreCheck or Global Entry or one of those traveler perk thingies, you will have to take all of your liquids and put them in a Ziploc baggie. I think it's a quart size Ziploc bag, and each of those things has to be 3 ounces or less. It used to be 4 ounces, now it's 3 ounces or less. And you have to remove the liquids and let them go separately through security. I had the liquids in a spot that was real easy to just grab and scan. Also, that's no longer in the diaper bag, well, technically it is in the diaper bag, but they're new ones, is diapers. I packed 8 diapers for 2 flights, the 30-minute flight and the 10-hour flight. Not to mention, there was also a 5-hour car drive once we got to Brazil. We landed in Sao Paulo and had to drive for 5 more hours. So 8 diapers actually was enough to get me from my house to where we were staying in Brazil. It's a pretty incredible trip. Very, very long. You gotta be tough for this one. Also, lastly, that is no longer in the diaper bag, but was in the diaper bag, was about 6 kid Z-bars and some crackers. That was all the food she required. My 1-year-old, she basically just ate off of my plate and everyone was happy. Not lastly with snacks, because I also had not 1, but 2 changes of clothes, and I put them in a gallon Ziploc bag. You do this so that you can take the soiled clothing and put it in the gallon Ziploc and put the new clothes on them. Would you believe it? We made it without needing a fresh pair of clothes. It was awesome. My personal carry-on item was my computer bag. I really like this bag because it was relatively affordable. It has a cushioned pocket for, there you go, for my laptop. It's got compartments for pencils and pens, and there's a lot of pockets in here. And I was able to put AirPods, iPad chargers, phone chargers, even a hairbrush. And this is like a wet brush with very nice bendy bristles in a protective case. Also in here, I packed a book for me, my daughter's tablet. Yes, I succumbed to the tablet. We traveled with the tablet. We didn't actually wind up using it until like the last hour of that 5-hour car drive after all that travel. We would have used it sooner if she had needed it, trust me. And also, in my computer bag was a carry-on toiletry bag. I had 2 toiletry bags. One with the majority of like my makeup and stuff because we were going to a wedding and I wanted to look super cute. Also, hair care. But I traveled with this toiletry bag and it came in a set of packing cubes that I will link down below that came in very clutch. But I put my liquids in here, things like deodorant, toothpaste, the absolute necessities for the flight. I also had great intentions of like getting up and doing skincare for the flight, and I didn't, and my skin is paying for it. I am so broken out. I don't know about you, but anytime I travel on a plane for any extended period of time, there's not 1, not 2, but usually 3 giant cysts that just show up and start hanging out with me for what seems like forever. I think it has to do with the stress that I feel when I travel and the super dry air. So if that happens to you, no shame. Just embrace the zits. They'll go away soon, but I tried. I packed skincare. I just didn't use it. And again, because these were coming on the plane with me, I made it easy for me to grab my liquids out of my quart-size Ziploc bag. And They were in here, so it was easy to grab. Also, had to remove tablets and my computer to go through security. No big deal, because it was really easy, because it was in this. My only beef with this being my carry-on bag is that it did not have wheels, and it is heavy. Thankfully, my daughter rode through the airport in this folding stroller. You see this? Look, it folds up so small. And it's decently lightweight. Like, it's not super lightweight, but it's mostly lightweight. And it folds out like that. And there's like space under here and like a place to put drinks. This is the COURTNEYLF Cloud, I believe, and it's basically a step up from an umbrella stroller, slightly nicer than that, and it was awesome because I could hang my computer bag on it and roll my daughter through the airport. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have seen lots of families let their youngish children, like children under 2, sit on a rolly bag. I could have just done a rolly bag. That could have worked, but this is what we did, and I actually really liked it because I had a stroller with me while we were traveling. We used it a lot. She is super happy to chill in the stroller and eat snacks and watch the world go by, so it was really quite helpful to have a stroller like this for the trip. Traveling to Brazil, you are allowed 70 pounds, 2 checked bags, 70 pounds a piece, and 70 pounds is an awful lot of weight. Both of these bags that I'm going to be showing you were 50 pounds, like right at 50 pounds. It was not too bad. Make sure to double check the weight requirements for bags before you go wherever you're going. This was what I packed all of my hair care in. I didn't pack amazing stuff for this trip. What I did pack was a Hello Bello shampoo, full-sized, and what wound up happening is that myself, my son, and my daughter all used that shampoo, and I packed the Jessie Curl Aloba conditioner for myself and my daughter, and for stylers, for me, for this trip, I used a travel-sized of the Curlsmith Styling Souffle, loved it, and I packed the Bounce Curl hairspray, which worked great for my son's hair. We just comb it in place and give him some hairspray. I also used the hairspray on the day of the wedding. My hair turned out great, but to be honest, most of the time while we were on the trip, I was air drying product free, and it looked pretty good, if I do say so myself. I also packed Downy Wrinkle Release in here for our wedding clothes. We didn't wind up using it because I learned a new hack. With my travel hair dryer, I used like high speed and high heat, and you can just blow dry the wrinkles out of your clothes. Who knew? My aunt was on this trip with us and she told me that trick and it worked. It worked really, really good. Have you tried this trick? Comment down below. It solved all the wrinkles in my husband's shirt and in my dress, which was very wrinkly by the time we got there. Also, this is from Curlfriend Collective. I liked this bag because it was mildly waterproof, and when you are traveling with things like shampoo, liquids, and it's in your checked bag, did you know that the compartment under the plane, it's not pressurized? The cabin where you're sitting is pressurized, but you're only allowed to bring 3-ounce bottles in quart-size bag with you inside the cabin, but you can check as big a bottles of shampoo and conditioner as you possibly could want, and those bags go underneath, and that's not pressurized, and if you're not careful, they'll explode. Also, don't mention that you have shampoo that might explode when you're checking in your bags. That makes them very nervous. Sorry, that was a bad joke. You've got to have good humor when you're traveling. Anyway, this was able to contain any spills or messes that happened with the shampoos. I like this one. This is a nice bag. I'm not sure I can link it, but you can find bags like this at the Dollar Tree and at the Walmarts. And as you may have seen, you can see it there and you can see it here. I have loud suitcases. They are loud. They are colorful. They have weird patterns on them. Part of me really likes that because I can spot my bag and easily recognize my bag. The other part of me feels a little self-conscious going through the airport with such loud luggage. I'm conflicted. But in my bag, I put all of my shirts and like soft pants, like leggings, etc., in a packing cube. All of my jeans were just wild and free in the bottom of my bag. And I brought boots with me and shoes. I put all of my shoes in another sack bag thing. This, I believe, came from Stitch Fix. It's what they ship the shoes in Stitch Fix, and I've kept them for forever, not knowing if I would use them. Oh, I use them. They are perfect for putting shoes in when you travel because we went to a rural area and there was lots of dirt, and I did not want all of that dirt getting into my suitcases, so putting the shoes in a bag for travel, that was a win. 10 out of 10, recommend. Another packing cube for the underwear and pajamas. But basically, can you see? This bag is just wide and open. There's really not a lot going on in compartmentalization. So in order to stay organized, I did my very best to put everything into a packing cube. And that kept stuff from getting mixed and matched and all kinds of wrinkled. Like my dress was still pretty dadgum wrinkled by the time we got there, but everything else looking pretty good. This is the hanging bag that I take with me when I travel. It's by Vera Bradley. It was on deep discount when it was purchased, and that makes me nervous when things go deep discount, like they're gonna be gone forever. But the reason I really like this is that it folds up really nice and small. It's about the size of a book, kind of slightly large book, and it hangs. This fit all of my makeup, my brushes, and this compartment down here works really well for other liquids, etc., that I don't feel like taking on the plane with me. And that went in my suitcase, and that was everything that was in my suitcase. Now this bag, I love. It does have a handle and wheels. It does roll, but what is so good about this bag is that it is essentially a giant duffel bag with multiple different compartments. This side basically was all of my daughter's things. It fit all of her diapers, it fit her bed, it fit her high chair, and her packing cube. This section right here fit all of my son's clothes. This section fit my son's shoes, and this section fit my children's toiletry bag, which I forgot to show, but it's basically just a little pink bag, and it contained all of their vitamins and different things like toothpaste, etc. It also contained their sound machine and that handheld pump for my daughter's bed. And what's left in this bag, because I have mostly unpacked already, is lots of packing cubes. I liked the packing cube set that I purchased off of Amazon. Yes, it will be linked down below. Because the cubes are so big and there was a bunch of them in there and the cubes lasted for this trip. They seem to be slightly coming apart just a tad little bit, but I mean, I was abusing them pretty badly. I was able to pack all of my daughter's clothes for the entire trip in one of these cubes and all of my son's clothes in these two. One contained all the socks, underwear, and pajamas, and one contained all of his pants and shirts and shorts, etc. Now, one last element of this trip that was rather tricky was that I was traveling with a 1-year-old that is still sleeping in a crib. She is not transitioned to a toddler bed yet, and where we were going, they did not have a crib. And bringing a pack-and-play with me on an international trip would be quite difficult. Even though they do fold up pretty small, it basically would have had to be another checked bag and another item that we were having to carry. So on a whim, I started crawling around on Amazon for solutions, and I found this. You may be asking yourself, Courtney, that doesn't look like anything. What is that? Here is a picture of what this is. It is an inflatable toddler bed. It's basically an inflatable kiddie pool with a mattress, inflatable mattress in it. It worked great, guys. I was not expecting my daughter to actually stay in it, but I knew I needed to bring a solution, a safe place for her to sleep, for her to be while we traveled, and this worked out great. It was very, very small. It's decently lightweight. It's got some weight to it. I would say 3 pounds or so. Like, it's not feather light, but it gets really small. She slept in it. She enjoyed it because she felt like a big girl in a fun new bed. And this was an awesome travel solution for traveling with a child who wasn't quite ready to be in a big girl bed, but also not having access to a pack and play or a crib. And it comes with a little manual pump. I thought it was an electronic pump. It is not, it's manual, but it takes roughly 5 minutes to pump up the bed, to air it up, which honestly, pumping for 5 minutes with this thing, you're a little tired afterwards, but it's still worth it. It worked really well. And even though we were traveling with a stroller, which could have doubled as a high chair for my 1-year-old, who is not quite big enough or old enough to sit at the table without a booster seat or a high chair of some sort, that could have worked. I splurged. I allowed myself to get one of these. Again, it doesn't look like much. Wow, I am the worst at reveals. Give me a minute. Give me a moment. One of these. There we go. It is one of those high chairs that you can clip on to a table, and it folds up so small. This is an amazing travel high chair. We had one for our son, which we used so much that it broke and we destroyed it. We used it until we could use it no more. And we didn't have one for my daughter, but I found this one. And it comes with a sack that's attached that you can put it in. Which makes it incredibly easy to travel with. Also, traveled with a sound machine for both of my kiddos. This actually helped me and my husband sleep really well too. They don't make that particular one anymore, but I will link one that's very similar. In terms of diapers for my 1-year-old for 10 days, I packed 60 diapers and had about 10 diapers left over. I packed 2 ginormous packs of wipes and had wipes left over. What I forgot to pack that we had to purchase while there were swimsuits and sunscreen. Wow, sunscreen is expensive in Brazil. I don't know why, but wow. Here, where I live in Texas, it is decently affordable. In Brazil, it felt like I was purchasing, I don't know, something very expensive. The last thing about this trip that was different than the previous trips that I have taken was a mindset shift I had while we were on the trip. I don't know about you, but when I was traveling and it was just me, I felt like I would pack when we would leave and things would slowly just get more and more disorganized and jumbled and whatnot, but I didn't care. And when I got home, it was just a giant wad in my suitcase, and somehow it felt like I brought more stuff with me home, even if I didn't bring anything else with me. Like, harder to zip my suitcase shut and keep my stuff organized as the trip went on. It happened to me every time. But with this trip, I made the intentional decision to organize every single day, to invest 10 to 15 minutes of my day on this trip to basically repacking the suitcases, refolding clothes that if a 7-year-old boy reached into his packing cube and ripped out a shirt and like half the shirts came out unfolded, I would invest time into reorganizing and repacking the suitcases. I was just determined that entropy would not take over on this trip and that my stuff would stay decently organized, and that made a ginormous difference in how this trip went. My husband was so helpful. He was able to find stuff in the suitcases, even though I was the one who took care of the packing this time. He was able to grab stuff very easily because things kind of stayed untwangled. So if you are going on an international trip and have 2 small children and are stressed out about keeping track of everything, 10 minutes was all it took to kind of reorganize every day and keep things from turning into an absolute nightmare. We actually had more room in our suitcases on the trip back than we did on the way down there. Obviously, that makes a bit of sense because diapers inherently take up a lot of room and we were consuming those diapers and slowly using them up. But even still, there was definitely surplus room in our bags, and we had made some purchases while we were down there. So pretty interesting. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me for this video. I sure hope it was helpful to you. If you have a big trip coming, allow yourself to enjoy the trip. And as always, I sure hope you are having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.